So we're here now to talk about some basic concepts in packing containers. Things which shipping companies and container packing companies should already know. They're very basic things. First of all, how to pack so that the crates and pallets inside don't tip over and damage the goods or the container itself. So of course, basically, if you're packing a container, you want to pack as far to the door as you can. If there's one pallet space left and you're double stacking, let's say if it's stone or tiles, try and have at least the end crate or pallet to be a ground level one, just so it meets the door, so there's less movement in the container. Just putting little strips of wood along the floor does not stop, and later on we're going to show you some photos of what happens when just little strips of wood are used in order to try and stop heavy crates and pallets of stone and tiles from tipping over during rough seas. But before that, we're going to demonstrate, just using some cookies in a container, just what it's like on rough seas and the impact of packing tightly up to the door and then leaving a pallet space, and just seeing the damage, just so we can plainly see what happens in a container. So here we have the biscuits lined up in the container. So let's just give that a bit of a rough seas shake. And this time it's been packed right to the edges, so we can see it's pretty firm there from top to bottom. So there's minimal movement. The cookies seem all intact. There's not even any crumbs that have come out in that container there. Well, let's just, for the sake of it, let's now take out a whole pallet's worth or cookie width there and leave that. Let's give that another similar shake to see when it hits rough seas what will happen. That was no harder. You can see already the pallets have moved, the biscuits have moved around. Even there's some broken ones here. You can see that they're starting to all shave off. That one's been broken up. With things like travertine or marble or stone, tiles, brittle things like that, you can see how those would just be crushed and be shattered, and a lot of stock damage within the container itself. So apart from just damaging the stock in the container itself can also be damaged. You can imagine the weight of tiles and stone as it hits the container back and forth, which causes an extra expense because the container companies won't accept their containers back. Another thing too is Australia has very strict weighing standards, and the containers are weighed when they come in, and the containers need to be balanced, the weight evenly distributed across the container for it to be weighed properly there. Now to just show a real life example of what happens when the container isn't packed correctly, have a look at these photographs of a container which we just received recently to show what can happen there and the damage to the container and to the goods as well. The first photo you're going to see right now is actually the container before it left the yard. The doors are open and we can clearly see that there is enough room for another row of pallets right at the front of the container. Have a look at this before it left the yard in good condition. Now have a look at these photos of when the container arrived at our port after going through rough seas. Have a look at the container and also note that the damage to the stock inside the container when it arrived.